That's what the younger people have to embrace, is prophylaxing so that you don't end up in the doctor's office.
Yeah, that sounds way ahead of, oh, I have like yearly routine checkups at the doctor. Everything is fine, blood analysis came fine, etc. No, this is actually going down to the detail of how you're made up and understanding, oh, this is coming in your future. Let's do something about it before it comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you see a longevity physician like myself, we would say, not only like what's going on with you, right? What do you eat? Do you exercise? Are you stationary? Are you a couch potato? We need to get your diet sort of better. We need to get your activity level better. But on top of that, like, what diseases or problems do your siblings have? What's genetic? What did your parents and your grandparents die of? Because a lot of this stuff is just inheritable. So if you know that everyone in your family got cancer, maybe you have problems with DNA repair mechanisms that we need to upregulate, right?
Mhm.
Everyone has immune problems. Maybe we need to bolster your immune system so that you don't get pneumonia, So there's many things that we can do before you get it, prophylactically, to make your life better.
This is really cool because, in a sense, the most generic sense, health can be a lagging indicator. Like if you're sitting on a couch potato for months, of course you're gonna get fat. Of course you know, you're gonna start huffing and puffing when you go up and down the stairs. It's the lagging indicator. You don't get that today. Maybe you don't get it in a couple of weeks. You get it in a couple of months for sure. But it's quite good that this longevity medicine, so this tier 3, can actually see, okay, you have all these indicators, all these genetic predispositions. Let's play out this into the future, theoretically. See, okay, you are going to hit these problems, unfortunately. Let's make an action plan to avoid them, or at least make them not as bad as they could be.
Yeah, that is exactly the key to longevity medicine. Absolutely. And it starts pretty young. We say that aging actually starts 30 to 35. Your kidney function starts dropping by the time you're like 18 or 19. Right?
Really?
Your kidneys function starts dropping and your brain isn't even developed yet. Isn't that cool? It's a weird fluke of evolution. So
Yeah.
your body isn't aging everywhere at the same time. But the younger you start, the better you will be. And it's really interesting because some young people just think they're going to be immortal forever, right? Until like 40 and then things start falling apart. But other people, like, the new thing is they want to be as proactive as possible, right? And the other problem, and we sort of touched on this briefly before you hit the record button, is that people seem to get their medical information from TikTok, which, comes with so many citations and literary sources that it's just got to be true. So the question is like, where do you go? Who do you believe? And how aggressively do you want to
Yes.
be healthy?
Because there's only so many Andrew Hubermans that you can have on social media, for example. Even Brian Johnson, like, it's cool to. So, for context, for anyone who might know them, so Andrew Huberman is a famous, at this point, social media person who started by having his own podcast about biology and neuroscience, and over time expanded to cover various facets of biology to an extent, while Brian Johnson is essentially a human experiment on himself, where he's doing literally all kinds of experiments possible to essentially live as long as possible and document it as thoroughly as he can.
Yeah, he's also an absolute nutcase. I don't know if you've ever seen him. He looks terrible. For someone that's trying to live forever, he looks terrible. And he obsesses about really strange things. I was at a conference and for 20 minutes, he was talking about the fact that he measured his penis every morning. And I thought, I'm so glad that this longevity venture is just so fruitful for everyone in the audience. I mean, it was just absurd. But anyway, yeah, I mean, these people do bring highlights to longevity and health, but man, take it too far and you're
Yeah. So, because again, it's social media. The how you stand out is by being on the extremes or sensationalist. So, of course, Brian Johnson stands out because again, he can go to that extreme. But how can we even, being aware that's how human nature is developing right now and consuming information right now, how do you feel we could make things a little better for those people on social media consuming information?
Oh gosh, it's just a good question, because I mean, I get bugged to be on social media all the time, and I just don't have time for it, which is unfortunate. I should hire someone. I prefer to do this, right? Podcast, we can have an actual conversation so people can actually truly understand what you're trying to talk about versus a 30-second snippet. Right. And I think it's just, I like to think of learning about health. It's basically an insurance policy, right? And instead of paying, I don't know, $100 a month or whatever for medical insurance, it's more of a time investment into learning what really is important.